Nom 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 nom. Oi.
Hello everyone, my name is Paulina and I'm a knitaholic. Welcome to Tikva Hobbies, my channel. Today we're going to make this lovely cute tea coaster. It's mid-September now and I thought I just needed to make something Halloween related given the name of the channel Tikva Hobbies, so it should be a pumpkin. And that's what I've done so far. Actually, this one is enough to fit a regular mug or something like that. So look, 13 centimeters wide approximately and around 10 centimeters high. So here's my mug. Yeah, you can see it fits pretty nicely. Actually, I rarely use little teacup which I showed in the beginning of the video. It just looked nice on camera, but I normally use a proper mug when I drink tea. So let's get right to it. What do we need? First, we need some yarn, cotton yarn preferably because it's more durable. I'm using Vita Charm yarn, which is rather thick for cotton thread. It's 212 meters in 100 grams. I'm more used to finer threads used for lace in terms of crocheting. This one is perfect for making sorts of toys and interior design elements like this one. Besides, it takes literally less than 2 hours to complete the thing. Well, maybe a little bit more with embroidering, depending on how fast you can do it, but why not? After doing it really fast, we need to do it nicely. So 212 meters in 100 grams. And what is the yarn itself like? It's not a cord actually. You can see it consists of lots of tiny little fine threads. I can probably even split it on camera. Let me try. Cannot catch it. Yeah, you see it splits. This makes it maybe not that nice while crocheting because you need to be careful not to split it with your hook. Still, the fabric itself is rather even and smooth, so I could recommend this yarn or approximately the same yardage, yeah, 212, maybe from 200 to 220 meters in 100 grams should do, so that you could get the same measurements, right? Approximately the same measurements, so that your mug can fit properly on it. So this one, the hook is 2.5 millimeters. I'm using this Clover one. Well, could be any hook which you find comfortable in your hands. Besides, we need 2 colors for embroidering. The brown one I'm using, actually I'm frogging this crocheted piece from a while ago, and I'm not sure I remember, actually not even sure, I don't remember the name of the brand of this article of yarn. So approximately it's about 250 meters, I suggest, but no, I'm in the wrong. It's finer thread and I'm using it double. Probably it's the yarn called Iris, so pretty fine. So with what we need to keep in mind is that the yarn for crocheting should be slightly finer than the yarn used in the main fabric. But as it doesn't change the measurements, you could take any brown yarn which you have in stock, providing this is not thicker than the main yarn. The same about the green one. I'm using Enna 16 by Seam because I have this vivid bright green color, but you could use any that you have in stock. Again, I'm holding it double while crocheting. The hook size doesn't change. I first wanted to go with a smaller size for embroidering, but it ended up folding the fabric a bit, and we don't want it. Anyway, it looked a little bit shrunk before I steamed it, so if your project looks not as flat, well, don't panic. Don't panic. First you need to steam it and then see what it looks like finally. Plus, what else? A tapestry needle, right? A blunt needle to weave in the ends. You could use a hook, of course, but this provides just a nice effect. The ends are not visible at all. Let's start. Actually, this is the scheme, the chart we're going to use. There are 7 rounds. Yes, you can see number 7. The first 5 are pretty simple. You start with an adjustable ring. Amigurumi crocheters know how to do it, or if you've tried like interior design, you know this. So it's like when you... I'm a little bit uncomfortable doing it on camera. Like you pull this thing here, the thread, inside the loop. Focus, please. Yeah. So work the first 3 chain stitches, right? We've got 3 chain stitches at the start. And then if we pull the tail, this loop starts decreasing. So we work all our double crochets into this loop, and then we pull it so that we have no hole in the center. Anyway, you could look up adjustable ring or amigurumi ring, or how to start an amigurumi circle, something like that, and you'll find a proper video on this one. I'm gonna just make it a little bit faster. So you start with this adjustable ring, then let's look at the chart. We chain 3 and start working double crochets. Join in the round. Again, chain 3 for the second one. Work the first double crochet into this stitch where we joined to make an increase. And we keep on increasing, making 2 double crochets in each of the double crochets of the previous round. So this is how we increase. In the third one, we again work an increase, 1 double crochet, increase. So we increase like every other stitch. So increase, no increase, increase, no increase. Fourth, it's the same, but we've got 2 stitches in between, between the increases. And the 5th round, we've got 3 stitches between the increases. 6 and 7 are actually the rounds which will make our circular shape turn into something like a pumpkin. At least it's the closest I could get to it. First, by the way, I wanted to make it in sections. Then I tried rows, increasing and decreasing rows like this. And neither worked pretty well, or at least it took me a while. So I thought that the circular shape is probably the easiest to repeat and to show this to you. Take a look, round 6. Here we have different stitches, not only double crochets, but we also have half double crochets. Oh, sorry, single crochets, of course. We have half double crochets, and we have double crochets, of course, treble crochets here, here. What are these circled areas. In the chart, in the colored chart, these are shown as orange ones. These are half treble crochets. It's just that my program didn't have a separate, like, sort of symbol, right? Sign for this symbol, yeah, so certain symbol for these ones. So I just used another color so that you don't get confused. And here I circled them. So when we come to this, we know this is not a treble crochet. This is half treble. It's basically the same, but you finish it not in like 3 steps, but just in 2. And it makes it a little bit shorter, and we want the widest part be this central. Well, if we just turn the chart properly, right, this is the beginning of the round, we want this part to be the widest one, yeah, to make this pumpkin shape. I'll show you the start of round 6, probably to the middle. Then round 7 will be pretty similar, just follow the chart. When you have these dots, these are like, just like you do it with joining in the round. You pull the, okay, better to show it, how you work it, if you're just not familiar with the symbols. So these stitches, so you just insert the hook into the stitch, pull the thread, and pull it right through the stitch on the loop. So it makes it the shortest stitch possible, right? Not very tall. Okay, so round number 6. Let's see how we started. We started with 2 chain stitches. Actually, this belongs to round 7. These are different colors, but here you don't see this. So 2 chain stitches, 1 and 2. Let's add some focus. Okay. Okay, so single crochet in the first stitch. Yeah, in the first double crochet of the previous round. And then we have 2 half double crochets, so we have a yarn over, pull the thread and pull it right through all of these, and repeat, yarn over, pull the thread, and pull the thread through all the 3 stitches. So 2 double crochets. Then we've got 2 double crochets in the same stitch. It's an increase, the first one here. So 1, and in the same stitch 2. Next we have 1, 2, 3, 4 half double crochets and 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. So 4 singles and then an increase. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, and we work 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. Here we go, you see it's slightly increasing. Then we've got 1 double crochet and 3 half trebles. So 1 double crochet. Then we have 3 half treble crochets. So we've got 2 yarn overs into the stitch, pull the thread. So like work the first 2 stitches on the needle. Okay, you see my yarn is splitting. I'm gonna do it again. 2 yarn overs. Okay, and we work all 3 stitches, all the 3 in one go. I said that we work 3 half trebles, so we repeat this twice more. 1, 2, and again 1, 2. Make sure you don't split it much. Okay, 2 half trebles in 1 stitch. The first and the second one. Okay, you see it becomes a little bit wider here. It's becoming, yeah, slowly. So then we've got proper focus, proper treble crochets, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them, and then an increase. Okay. In 3 steps. Okay, I'll just put my yarn on the floor. Just to allow it a little bit more room. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna either wash it or steam it afterwards. It's not a big deal. And this is going to be mine. I'm not gonna present it to anyone. So 4. We need 4, so we've worked 3. 1 more. And an increase. So 2 treble crochets in 1 stitch. Actually, I suggest that we pause here. You see how the stitches are done, and just follow the chart, right? Follow the chart. This part should have a little, how to call it, like a dent here, like a pumpkin should have, right? In here, right? The same about the upper part. I'll see you when you're done with the crocheted part and when you're ready to work the embroidered part, the embroidery, and this green one. I finished crocheting. It probably took me like 20 minutes or so to finish around 6 and 7. Cut the thread. Well, the tail is probably a little bit longer than necessary, but enough to weave it in. Now we need to start the embroidery. We start here, go all the way round. Then it's easiest if we cut the thread, then we join in here and work all this. Yeah, actually I went like this. The bigger diameter, yeah, radius, and then went this center part. So we start embroidering here. Look, you see this goes not like in here, right? As if we were like crocheting, if we kept on crocheting, we would insert our needle in here, but we only catch the upper part of the stitch. I'll show you in a sec. So we leave some tail, right, to weave it in later. That joins the yarn. I'll probably start, let's start with this place where we joined in the round for round 6. Yeah, leave some tail. Got it. Okay, so we need just to pick the upper part, like leg of the stitch. Okay. And work the same stitches we do when we join in the round. We insert the hook, pull the thread, and pull it right through all the stitches on the hook. Next one. Oops. Like this. In the back part of the stitch, the upper one. inside the hook, pull the thread and pull right through it. And this is how you start it. So keep doing it, like all around the pumpkin. I'll see you when we need to join the second one. Alright, I finished this circle, this round, cut the thread, pulled it through the stitch, and now we need to join the thread again. Let's see how this line goes. Mostly it goes between round 5 and round 6, but we start not here in the middle, we start a little bit closer to the edge, to the left, because if we start all of these lines in here, it would be like this. So here it's mostly fine. Still, I skipped like a stitch, like probably 3-4 millimeters in between. And if we join in the same place, it wouldn't look like a pumpkin. So if we joined in here. So we start approximately somewhere above the place where there was one double crochet. So approximately here, right? And need to get in here. So we join the thread here and embroider somewhere to get to this point between round 5 and round 6. So here I am between 5 and 6, rounds 5 and 6. Then we again change the track a little bit and finish in here. Next we walk this line. For that we need to embroider in here. Just copy this embroidered part, yeah, make it double, and do the same thing on the opposite side. I finished this line, copied, like doubled the embroidered part here, and now we start the last 2 lines. These go between rounds 2 and 3, so we start a little bit to the left from the center part and need to go between rounds 2 and 3 in here. So the line should go like this. We get down, have like 5 millimeter part here, so like 1 stitch literally. If you can make 2, why not? And go up. And this is it. This is going to be the embroidered part. Don't worry if your pumpkin looks a little bit like a semi-sphere. This goes away once you steam it. Unless your stitching, your embroidery is very tight. Mine isn't, so it should be alright. I'm done with the embroidering. Finished. If you worry too much about this shape, you could steam it right now, just to make sure everything is fine. Now we need to do this little thing. I'm using single crochets here, so you pick the stitches slightly at the back. Basically, you can pick the same orange stitches, right? The ones that we picked when we did the brown embroidery, or a little bit below as you wish. I'm gonna pick these orange ones. The thread will be double, will be held double, so just a sec, I'll get ready and show it. I've cut the thread, approximately like 2 meters of it, folded it double, so it's like a little bit over a meter long. This should be enough to have this thing. Let's see how many single crochets we need here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the first row. So we need to pick like 8 stitches. I changed the hook for 2.5 millimeter one to make it sturdier. Chained 1 stitch, picked up the stitches at the back, right, and worked single crochets, 7 of them. Then we chain 1 stitch, turn work, and work single crochets in here. I'll try to make it the fabric rather firm. It shouldn't stretch much. And in the last 2 stitches we're gonna make a decrease, so we don't finish this single crochet, start the next one and decrease. Turn work, chain 1, single crochet 1, 2, 3, 4, and we work a decrease. Okay, just to make it a little bit thinner. Chain 1, probably this row, 1, 2, 3, fourth one we work without any decreases. And in the next one we have a decrease probably at the end. Use your imagination. So you see how you want this thing to be. I'm gonna decrease at the end. Okay. And maybe have one more decrease here on the right in the next row. 1, 2, and here we've got a decrease. Fine. Do we want to make it a little bit longer? Maybe just one more row without decreases this time. Chain 1, and let's have 1, 2, and 3 single crochets. Pull the thread through the stitch, and basically here it is. So I decreased slightly more often in this one. In the first I see I had decreases at the start and then worked mostly flat, decreasing here in the final row. Oh, I like this option just as much. This looks fine to me. Now the tedious part, which I'm not really fond of. We take a tapestry needle, take our threads. You could weave them in one by one. I'll weave 2 at a time if I have like yarn which I held double, which I used double 2 threads. Need to insert it into the needle. So we weave in at the back, so we have to get the thread to the back side of this work and weave in, just start weaving in. Let's focus. Try to get in the middle of these stitches so the needle is not visible, especially on the side which we are going to see when we use the seam. And then we go maybe around this part, stitching at the back. Yeah, let's go along this line. Just pick some orange stitch and the back part of the embroidery to make it as invisible as you can. Something like that. So you weave in like maybe like 3 centimeters and then you cut the tail and do the same with all the rest of the tails. I've weaved in all the tails, all the ends, and steamed the tea coaster. Just put it like this and used my iron while steaming it and just pressed it a little bit. Well, not a little bit, just to make all these curves go away. This is cotton, so it's alright to steam it. You know, like you could have like maximum like 3 points on the iron. It's fine unless you do it for a very long time. This is it. Basically it's done. Well, this line is a little bit curvy, but it's fine. Yeah, pumpkins are not ideal. They are all different. If we compare with my first one, it's approximately the same size. Right, I used the same stitches. Well, here I improvised. So the basics, yeah, you pick the stitches, decrease a little bit, and it's done and ready. I've got one then for myself, the other one for my husband. Thank you for watching this video. Please smash the like button if you enjoyed watching it and if you find it useful. Subscribe to my channel not to miss my other videos and to support my work. Check out my knitting podcast playlist for some chat about knitting and crochet, and my other tutorials in the tutorials playlist. See you in the next video. Have a nice day and thank you for watching. Bye!